Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Samantha. So for today's video I'm going to be doing a story time, and this is going to be about the time that I was sexually assaulted by my stalker. And I know that sounds crazy and I just want to hurry up and get into the story time so you guys can know all about what happened, but of course because it is such a serious topic I would just like to mention a few things beforehand. So the first thing, and I think the most important thing that I would just like to mention, is the fact that people deal with emotional trauma such as things like this in very different ways. And the way that I sort of cope with it is I kind of make a joke about it. But of course it is not a joke. Sexual assault is never a joke, it's never funny. But the way that I cope with it is I kind of make myself like a laughing stock, if that makes sense. But yeah, please don't be offended by the way that I have dealt with this situation and the way that I explain it. It's just everyone deals with things in different ways, so I just thought that I would let you guys know that beforehand. Also, this happened a very long time ago. It happened when I believe I was 11. Either 11 or 12, and I'm 23 now, and my memory about that time is still quite vivid, but just the small details are a bit jumbled up. But anyway, let's just get straight into the story time. I don't want to be talking too much in this intro, so yeah, let's just get straight into the story time. If you guys have not subscribed already, then please make sure that you do, and also please turn on the post notification bell so you know when the next upload. I upload twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, so I'd greatly appreciate if you subscribed. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this story time. I'm going to try and pretend that the camera is a person and that I'm just speaking to a friend and I'm just telling them about what happened to me. So let's date back to, I believe it was 2009 or 2010. I was 11 or 12. I don't actually remember exactly how old I was, but I know that I was either in year 7 or year 8, one of them. And I went to an all-girls school, and I had made some friends, and you know, I was enjoying my secondary school life, you know, meeting new friends. At this time I was very young. I was not thinking about which boys I like and which boys are, you know, talking to me and which boys fancy me and blah 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 blah, which boys I fancy. There was no boys on my mind. No boys, no kissing, no sex, nothing like that. That was not on my mind. I was extremely young. I was a child, okay? So bear that in mind. So here's me enjoying my secondary school life, you know, with my friends. As I said, I went to an all-girls school with my girl friends, right? I lived about half an hour from my secondary school, so the route that I would take, I would get on a bus all the way from my school's road all the way down to my area, and from the bus stop that I'd get off to go home, it was probably like a 5 to 8 minute walk back to my house. And that was just my journey. I just got used to that journey. That's the journey that I would always take, and I felt pretty safe on that journey. The bus that I would get on was always a very busy bus. It was quite a known bus, if that makes sense. One day I noticed there was a boy, and I knew what school he went to because of his uniform. So basically, so my secondary school is an all-girls school, and there was a boys' school that was attached to the girls' school. So they were kind of like, not the same school, but they were like connected schools, if that makes sense. So once you got to sixth form, the boys and the girls would join together, and that was the sixth form. The schools were linked basically. So year 7 and 8 they wear brown blazers, and from year 9 to year 11 they wear black blazers. So this boy that I got on the bus, and the same bus that I got on, was wearing the black blazer. So one day it was a very packed bus, and this guy got on. Obviously I didn't take any notice of him, it was just a regular guy getting on a regular bus. And then the bus was quite packed, and then I noticed that he was kind of like pushing up against me. And you know when like you're on the bus and it's like really packed and you don't have a seat? So I was standing up and I was like holding onto the rail, and I noticed like he was sort of like holding onto the rail like near me, but his front area was like pushing onto my back. At the time I just kind of thought nothing of it. I just thought because it's like a really packed bus, you know, maybe there's just not a lot of space and that type of thing. So I just kind of left it, whatever. I was just like, I was a bit, obviously I was creeped out, but I was just like, okay, it is what it is. So I got off the bus. I noticed that he got off as well, but like I would walk this way and then he would sort of like walk this way. So I would like look behind, but then I just took no notice of it. Like, okay, cool. So, you know, he goes to blah blah blah, that school, and he kind of lives near me. So go home, blah blah, that was fine. I didn't tell anyone. So the next day now, get on the bus. Obviously, as I usually do, I always get on that bus, and he gets on always at a certain stop, which is maybe like 5 stops after the stop that I get on. And so this time the bus is not as packed, so I managed to get a seat. And then I see the boy again, and he's like kind of staring at me, like he's like sitting on another part of the bus but staring at me. And I just thought nothing of it. I just thought, oh, like maybe he's got a crush on me or whatever. I don't know, I was just being stupid. Like I just didn't think anything of it. So cool, he's staring at me, blah blah. And then that happened a few times. Like he would get on the bus, he would just, you know, stare at me. And that happened for a good, maybe, I'm actually not too sure, but I'm sure it happened for a couple of weeks. So he would just get on the same bus, he would get on at the same stop that he would always get on, he would sit like kind of semi-close to me but just be staring at me, and I just didn't really think anything of it. I do remember telling my friends that there's this guy on the bus and he keeps staring at me, and they were just like, oh, maybe he likes you, blah blah blah. And so we just kind of like laughed it off basically. Obviously at the time I was getting a bit scared. Not scared, I wouldn't say scared, I was just getting a bit weirded out. I think that's the right term. Yeah, I was getting weirded out that this guy was staring at me. But anyway, I just didn't really think anything of it. So that kept happening. Next encounter that I had with him, I was sitting on the bus and he sat next to me. And I just specifically remember he sort of like had his legs like that, like spread open. So his legs were spread open to the point where his like leg was touching my legs. And I specifically remember looking down and being like, what is happening? And I sort of just like turned away type of thing, so that our legs were not touching. Yeah, that happened, and I don't really remember what I did after that. Don't think I told anyone, don't know why, but anyway, so that happened. So yeah, fast forward to when the actual assault happened. So I got on the bus, obviously, did my regular route, got off the bus, and I noticed that he didn't take the turn that he usually takes. He was actually following directly behind me. So obviously at this point I was like, okay, this is a bit weird that he's behind me. I don't want him to know where I live, that type of thing. So I specifically remember I was walking, and he was kind of like following close behind. So I was like, yeah, oh hell no. So he was walking behind me, like directly behind me, and I was just like, let me just pretend to fix my shoe. So I was pretending to, like, I was fiddling with my shoelace or whatever, and then he just kept going, he just kept walking, and then he was walking like straight ahead, and I usually take the right turn. So I was like, oh praise the Lord, like he's not following after me to my house. So he went, and then I went to my house, and then I was like, it's a bit weird. I still didn't tell anyone, don't know why. Okay, cool. So the next day now, he does the same thing. He gets off at my bus stop and he walks directly behind me. So I just start walking, like kind of like fast walking, and then I notice him behind me and he's fast walking as well, and I was thinking, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? And then all of a sudden he literally like comes up behind me and grabs my bum, like squeezes my arse cheek. Oh my god, fucking disrespect. He grabs my arse cheek, and my immediate reaction was turn around and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And he literally just walked off as though nothing happened, as though I didn't say anything to him. He literally just kept walking. I was just like in shock, and I was just standing there like, what the fuck just happened? And then I just remember walking home, I was shaking, and my brother and his girlfriend were there at the time, and I just remember just breaking down. I was just bawling, and I was just like, this guy just grabbed my bum, blah blah. I was extremely freaked out. I felt extremely violated. Nobody has ever touched me like that, ever. I'm 11 or 12, I'm a child, someone has grabbed my ass. I just remember coming home and I was just crying, and my brother was like, what the fuck, who did this, blah blah. Obviously just what a regular older brother would do. My brother is 10 years older than me, so obviously he was like, what the fuck, who is this, come on, let's go outside now, let's go find him. Obviously I was just like, you know, he's not going to be there, he's going to be gone by the time we go outside, there's no point of us going outside. But he was just like, come on, let's go look for him anyway. So I was like, okay, cool. So we went outside, you know, I told him where it happened. We walked there. We tried to like look around, see if he was still maybe hanging around, maybe. And yeah, he wasn't there. So cool. So what happened afterwards? Told my mum, told my dad, told my whole family, blah blah. Obviously they're extremely shocked and scared for me, and they're saying like, why didn't you say anything sooner, that type of thing. Okay, cool. So that happened, and then my brother, he came up with this idea of the way that we can find this guy and like, you know, take a picture of him, like take his picture to the police. So I would like get on the bus and he would like wait for me at the bus stop. And so obviously when the guy would get on the bus, my brother would be there, you know, when we both got off the bus. So he said, get on the bus, stay next to the driver, make sure that there's people around you, don't ever like let him come near you. If he comes near you, scream, basically. And he was just like, yeah, so when you get off the bus, oh, it's my brother and my mum. I think my dad was at work. I don't know where my other brother was. I think he was at work as well. So it was my brother and my mum. They were both waiting at the bus stop for me, and I was texting my mum and my brother at the same time, like just to let them know that yeah, he's here on the bus. And then my brother said to me, like, when I get off the bus, just pretend that I don't see them there, or pretend that I don't know them, so that he doesn't like run off and get scared that, you know, I'm with people. So so I got off the bus, and then I just did what they said. I just walked like straight ahead, and then he was following me, and then my brother just pulled up and was like, excuse me, and he was like, did you touch my sister's bum? He's all like, no sir, no I didn't. I just remember my brother took out his phone and just started recording him, and was just basically like, yeah, I know that you touched her bum, I'm gonna report you to the police, I'm gonna take your video, your picture to the police. He was like taking pictures, taking videos of him. And yeah, so then that was how we managed to confront him. And then we went to the police station. We obviously told the police what happened, and then I had to give a statement, my brother had to give a statement, my mum had to give a statement, because obviously they were there at the time when we confronted him. Yeah, obviously I don't really remember the exact details of the whole process with the police, blah blah blah, but anyway, what ended up happening was we went to the police station. They contacted the boys' school, obviously the boys' school, not my school. They're not going to contact my school because he doesn't go to my school, he goes to the boys' school. So they contacted them. Obviously they had to get different suspects. So they had like 5 or 6 different suspects that fit the description of, you know, how I described the guy. So then I had like a separate interview, my mum had a separate interview, then my brother had a separate interview, and then we all had to like look at the 6 suspects and identify who it was. Out of all of them, and of course because my mum saw him, my brother saw him, we all picked the same guy because that was the guy that touched my bum. So yeah, so I ended up finding out his name, I ended up finding out how old he was, where he lived. He lived nowhere near me. He actually lived the opposite way that the bus went. So clearly he was just getting on the bus for my sake, and he just wanted to stalk me basically. And so the police informed us that he was 16 years old, and so he was put on the sex offenders list. I had a restraining order put on, is that the right term? And he had to write like a letter to me as an apology. And yeah, I think that's all that happened, to be honest with you. And yeah, so obviously I was traumatized from getting on the bus for a very long time. I think it took me maybe like 2 years to get on the bus again. I always made sure that I had some sort of scissor in my bag or something like that, but I don't know, now that I think about it, I didn't even realise that it still affected me to this day. It still kind of makes my heart like beat out of my chest. Like I feel like my voice is a bit shaky, but yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Obviously since then, my confidence has built up a lot. So if that was to happen to me now, even though I'm 5 foot, I will be throwing hands. I will be throwing hands, legs, elbows, knees, feet. There will be, even though I am very small, something like that cannot run with me again, because just when I think back on that situation, I just don't know why I just didn't do more. I feel like because I was still so young, I'd never even like kissed a boy or even spoke to a boy. Like no boy has ever spoken to me romantically at that time. So for someone to be grabbing my ass, I was just extremely traumatized and I just froze. So yeah, that's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. I don't think that's the word to use because it wasn't very enjoyable for me. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.